Thanos adds another stone. He adds another Infinity Stone. Thanos collected another body, killed another legend. It's no longer El Matador. He is the legend killer. I don't know how to say that in Spanish. We're going to recap UFC 317. I'm heavy-hearted right now. I'm going to try to keep the energy up because who wants to watch somebody down? But, dude, I'm hurt. I'm really, really hurt. You see I'm in uniform. I'm really, really hurt. It's crazy because I'm still hurt. I picked Topuria to win. Oh, man. That was the worst, Charles. Oh, my gosh. We wagered 3.55 units. We did go negative by 0.07. We went 3-on-3 on bets. We finally broke the casual parlay streak. I made the last video. I said if the casual parlay doesn't hit, we're going to give it up. We lost 4 in a row. Finally broke the streak. I knew for a fact that if the main event went to the 4th round with less than 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock, there's a problem. There's a problem, man. I'm struggling to record this video. We had another bet on the main event. It also hit. And then Jonathan Diniz leagues above his opponent. We already knew what time it was. Easy money. We finally get back on track. I took my time. I'm probably going to do that again. We have no fights next week. So I'm going to have plenty of time to pick my spots. Man, I'm hurt. Moving on to shoe and parlay loses. Pantoja dominates. Felipe Lima gets dominated. We're going to talk about it more in the full card recap. Check the timestamps down below. Felipe Lima gets smoked. Beautiful performance of Peyton Talbott. We'll get to it, but Felipe Lima looked like he didn't have a backup plan in there. Underdog straights. Renato Moicano was looking good in the first round. Looked like it was going to be easy money. Benil Dariush, I said on the live stream, we were live. Thank you for the support. This was a successful week for me this week. We went live. The videos did well. I appreciate everything. Renato Moicano hurt Benil Dariush bad in the first round. Benil Dariush, I said Benil Dariush would be the better wrestler in this fight. And he wrestled the shit out of Renato Moicano, gassed him out, showed that he's a higher level, that he could pull it out deep. And then Joshua Van, dude, fight of the year. This fight needs to be inducted to the Hall of Fame. Bro, the fact that Brandon Royval outputted Joshua Van is crazy in itself. Because that was something I was very, very interested. We have two of the highest output fighters in UFC history. Joshua Van lands the most significant strikes per minute at over 8 strikes per minute in the UFC. Pantoja's a tricky matchup, though. It's going to be tough because you got to hit hard for Pantoja, and Van doesn't really hit hard, but the volume could make it interesting. We're going to get more into that when we get to that fight. Props and mix, the main event, we took the under 1.5 at plus 114. It just felt right. It felt like fire was going to meet fire and somebody was going to get burned. My boy got burned. RoboCop gets a beautiful finish. He hits under 1.5 on Jacoby Smith, misses by like a minute and a half. Gassed himself out in the first round trying to ground and pound when he could have just kept it on the feet. That's annoying. But that's all the best. Let's get into the card. Okay, so the UFC website's just tripping. So we're going to do it like this. Man. I mean, that fight felt way longer than 2 minutes and 27 seconds. Dude, as a Charles Oliveira fan, Charles Oliveira is my second favorite fighter of all time. Dude, I don't think I want to see Charles fight again. I mean, he's never going to fight for another title. 170 doesn't look great for him. He just got put out the worst ever in his career. And there's nothing but hard fights. Max Holloway's, and it's just nothing but hard fights. He's taking a lot of damage. He just had another kid. He's well off. He's well paid. His legacy's already set in stone. I don't know if I want to see Charles Oliveira fight again. Ilia Topuria, I mean, we knew what it was. Charles met him in the center. Charles went to go fight fire with fire. And I'm not upset with that because if Charles would have been in on the takedowns and trying to fight like he fought Michael Chandler in the second fight, he wouldn't have been disciplined for a full 25 minutes. He would have got caught regardless. And early he was catching Ilia with some things, and Ilia shook it off. Charles, the one thing I knew you wouldn't have head movement. I knew that, but I felt like I could rely on you to keep your hands up, and you didn't. You rushed into the pocket. Right hook, put him out on his feet. He went noodle-bodied. Head hit his knee. He's out cold. Oh, my gosh. That hurts. Next fight. I call another one. Alexandre Pantoja by submission. It just felt right. Just felt right. When this guy gets you scrambling, when he can make you think about the takedowns and you're a striker and you're going to lower your output because you're looking for one big shot, even if you land that one big shot, you're not going to hurt Pantoja. You're not going to finish Pantoja. Pantoja just mirage guys, comes forward, and he finds Kai Francis back and submits him. It just felt right. It felt right. It felt a lot like the Kaya Sakura matchup. It just felt right. A powerful puncher who's looking for one big shot. Kaya Sakura actually was letting his hands go, more output, but It just felt right. It did. It felt right. Pantoja, come on, man. He's number 4 or number 3. I don't know if I'm putting him above Marat, but he's number 4 at least. And it's time to have uncomfortable conversations. Like, he doesn't need 11 title defenses, 12 title defenses to be on DJ's level. I mean, it's quality over quantity. And, dude, multiple wins over Brandon, multiple wins over Royval. One more, like, DJ's best win is Henry Cejudo. Then after that, it falls off John Dodson, and then it falls off even more. See what I'm saying? So, I don't want to hear anything about Ray Borg. Alexander Pantoja, he's that dude. Fight of the year. Joshua Van keeps showing that his chin can hold up. Now, Royval doesn't really hit the hardest. I've been saying that. Royval's boxing isn't that great. He's really relying on that length. But he was able to get in the pocket, and he was getting outboxed in the pocket, but he was landing his own shit. Joshua Van's chin held up, because the one thing about Joshua Van is, like, he can get in the fire, but he kind of gets hurt. Those allegations are kind of going out of the window nowadays. Pantoja's a whole nother power level. Yeah, it's not the same output, but it's a whole different level of power. But Joshua Van, dude, he comes in, he secures the dub, almost finishes Brandon Royval late. He's willing to slug. He brawls a bit too much, and you don't want to brawl Pantoja, because while you're busy brawling, getting your hands going, Pantoja's in on a body lock, and he's scrambling, and he's in on a back take. But let's just enjoy this one right now. Joshua Van, 23 years old. Dude, Brandon Moreno did not have that type of success against Brandon Royval. I'm like, Joshua Van is really that dude. Joshua Van is really that dude. Oh my goodness, Joshua Van, beautiful boxing, fight of the year, beautiful boxing. Brandon Royval got his win check too on top of the 50K bonus. Like, it was beautiful. Look at the combinations. Look at the output. Joshua Van, 1-2s was beautiful. His right hand was on fire. Royval, he's popping that jab, but Joshua Van's right hand was on fire. His pull counters on fire. He was cracking Brandon Royval. And if he had, I'm not going to say any power, because it's not like he has pitter-patter punches, but if he had just a little bit more power, he would be stopping guys in a fashion that we see El Matador stopping guys. I'm just going to say that. But near Dariush, this fight was kind of boring. It looked like Renato Moicano was going to pull away. My prediction, I picked Renato Moicano, and I picked him because I thought he would be able to outstrike Beneil Dariush from range, land his straight right hands, land his low kicks. He wasn't really low kick heavy. He was actually getting out kicked. Beneil Dariush did a great job with his kicks. Beneil Dariush was probably winning the first round, got caught, got hurt. But other than that moment, Beneil Dariush was pretty much winning the fight. I mean, he was out wrestling Renato Moicano. Like, I expected him to be the better wrestler. Renato Moicano did really good in the scrambles, but he just got so tired. He was gassed. He just wasn't able to keep up. And Beneil Dariush was gassed as well, but Renato Moicano just looked like he had nothing to offer. Like, he had Beneil Dariush back against the fence, and Renato Moicano couldn't even let his hands go. His hands were heavy as hell. Beneil Dariush, is good to see him bounce back. But that's not really that type of performance that makes me feel like you could do some things in this division, So that's tough. And the way you perform, it looks like the UFC, if you do come back to fight, we're going to have to give you a killer. You know what I mean? So I like Beneil Dariush as a person. I would like to see Renato Moicano win, because he probably has more fun, entertaining moments, probably has better fights. But it's good to see Beneil Dariush get back in the win column. Peyton Talbott schools Felipe Lima. Felipe Lima looked like he didn't have a backup plan. It looked like he was all in on the wrestling, and he just knew it was going to work. And when it didn't work, Peyton Talbott was reversing and then landing on top, looking stronger. It looked like he didn't have a backup plan. It looked like he was scared to strike. And that's crazy, because Peyton Talbott wasn't cracking him with ridiculous shots and wobbling him every which way and making him look like a kid on the feet. Felipe Lima was landing his own big strikes. He landed big right hands, but he never looked comfortable on the feet, and he just allowed Peyton Talbott to dictate pace and walk forward. And Peyton Talbott just did whatever he wanted. Peyton Talbott didn't really have to push hard. It almost looked like an easy fight for Peyton Talbott. I had it 30-27. Negated every single takedown, ended up on top. Whenever he did end up on bottom, scrambling to the feet, he looked impossible to hold down. He looked pretty big in there. He looked very athletic. He kind of styled on Felipe Lima. He schooled him. Just how good is Hany Barcelos? That's all I got to say. But he schooled Felipe Lima. Bad pick. Bro, it looked just like Jack Hermansson was starting to get his flow. Jack Hermansson was bouncing, popping that jab, rolling with shots, getting out of the way of shots. Right hand. But Gregory Rodrigues, he picked up on something. He threw the right hand to make Jack dip. Left hook cleaned him. Cleaned his fucking clock out cold. The extra shot was unnecessary. Out cold. Jack Hermansson was really start popping that fucking jab. He was really starting to look like, okay, Jack's a better striker than this guy, but Gregory had the great equalizer, and that's the power. And that left hook landed beautiful on the button, beautifully placed. Not really much to talk about. I wish this fight would have went a little longer. Jose Delgado, man. Jeez. I wouldn't mind seeing him fight William Gomez. A striking matchup. Jose's going to have the power advantage. Jose can wrestle. Jose has good BJJ. I would love to see that matchup. I know Hyder just beat William, so why would he beat somebody? Why would he fight somebody that the guy he just knocked out beat? But it's a good stylistic matchup, but I guess it doesn't make that much sense. Jose Delgado. Clinch, knee up the middle. Cracks him with the knee, right hand, finish the show. Close to the show. Easy. Easy night. Not really much to talk about. Hyder Amil, he tried to come forward and impose his will, but he never really got to get the going. He never really got to get his game plan going, and that's kind of how this fight felt. It kind of felt Jose either finishes Hyder or Hyder kind of dogs him out-dogs him and wins a decision, a gritty decision by pushing the pace and breaking him a little bit. It never got, 26 seconds, it never even got that far. This fight was boring as shit. Vivi so mad at the end. Bro, you're laying on your back with your fucking guard closed while Tracy Cortez is on top. Tracy Cortez, I guess, tried to look for the finish at the end. The fight was boring as shit. While they were on the feet, they were doing nothing. Vivi landed a total of 39 strikes. This shit was boring as fuck. But Tracy Cortez gets back in the win, 30-27. It was clear as day. I wish I would have seen more from Tracy. Tracy trying to take a little bit more risk, really going for it. Because Vivi was 38 and she looked every bit of it. She looked 48 out there. She just looked like, I don't know, bro. A lot of this fight, it felt like light sparring. I'll show you a look, you show me a look. Especially on the feet, bro. Like, it was so low output. It was a bad fight. T-Rex absolutely wrecks. Slava calls. Never even got a chance to see how the striking plays out. Terrence McKinney immediately blasts double leg, scrambles. Darce, ends up in mount, goes guillotine. Slava tried to fight as long as he could. Submits him. Terrence McKinney, I mean, we didn't really learn anything, though. Terrence McKinney, we know, insane upside. I always say it every time I talk about T-Rex. The first 2 minutes, he's the greatest fighter of all time. You know, he can knock you out. He can take you down. He can submit you. It's just whenever he starts to gas a little bit and the fight gets a little tough. But, dude, he just ran through Slava Claus like it was nothing. Didn't even need to throw a punch. Shout out to T-Rex. I feel like we don't need to talk about this fight. It's everything we expected. Jacoby Smith needs to get in shape. He gassed. He was very tired in that second round. That's not okay. It's not okay. He's making fights harder than what they need to be. Taking them down in the first round and playing an ego's guard. Yeah, you landed some ground and pound, but you were busting them up on the feet. Could have stayed on the feet. Found a KO there. Very, very tired. Gassed himself out, which makes sense. I mean, you come from a collegiate college background, multiple wrestling matches a day, high-paced action with the wrestling, and you're tired after 3.5 minutes of being on top of Nico and denying his sweeps and ground and pound. Ugly look, but we saw the heavy power, we saw the good wrestling, and we saw the submission ability. So he just needs to get that cardio in shape. He looked like a guy in there that's used to finishing the fight in the first round. And the fight went a little later, and it looked like if there was some better opposition out there, it could have went a different way. That's all I'm saying. So it's good for him to finally get out of that first round. Maybe he's been out of the first round, but it's not often. It's good for him to go a little longer for him to see, okay, man, I need to get right. You know what I mean? Then Janata Diniz, good fight. I mean, pretty fun fight. Janata busting him up. Alvin Hines being a dog, biting down the mouthpiece and coming forward no matter what. But it was levels. The takedowns just weren't there. It's just levels. I mean, this is a high level. I'm really surprised that he didn't find the finish. That's the one thing that I'm really surprised. I knew Alvin Hines come forward, big volume, head first, trying to grab, trying to make something happen, and Janata Diniz would be dotting him up. I'm just surprised Alvin Hines was able to eat the shots he was eating. It was crazy. But that's the end of this card, man. I feel I'm hurting, y'all. But I'll be all right. Like, comment, subscribe. Share this with somebody I know they enjoy it like you did. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get up out of here, man. Yeah.